Right, we landed UFB, Ultimate Fitness Birmingham. We've got Ben, Power Specs Ben, Johnny Morgan Fit here. So these boys are coming up for 2 weeks out of their Two Bros show. Neither of you competed Two Bros yet, have you?
No.
Debut Two Bros show. So we're going to get that qualifier out of the way, and then we're going to start looking at pro qualifiers, which is very exciting. But before we start, I'm going to kit them out in VQ because I've got a whole box of it. So this is a new perk of joining the team. Whenever I train with a client, they get a lucky dip.
Jeez, fucking hell. Shit, I thought it was going to be like a pre-workout or something.
Well, you can just choose what you've got and then I'll take the rest.
I remember, I don't forget, bitch, I'm everywhere in town. Thinking about the ways to get my bread up. Trying to see the chain with Rosetta. I got no resentment, no vendetta. Yeah, she told me up because I let her. Bet I eat that bar like it's a setup. Pussy dripping down, I know stilettos.
Both the boys, 2nd July is their show date. It's the 14th of June today. So it's UK, no, Two Bros Wales. I'm not sure what the actual show's called. Is it Condition Cup? Is it Condition Cup? RL Coaching, whoever that is. RL Coaching Cup. Something like that. But yeah, they're two and a half weeks out. They're both, from my perspective, pretty much there now. Ben's got the most beautiful set of abs, which you'll see, and Johnny's just got solid mass. So Ben's going into men's physique. Johnny will be open class bodybuilding. He's actually my first open class assisted bodybuilder on the stage, so it's been a challenge for me managing, particularly his fatigue and then that rate of loss. He's had more refeeds than I've ever given anyone any prep ever. And Ben started prep in such a good place that we haven't really had to push him until recently, and then he's had some pretty rapid weight loss over the last couple of weeks. So again, we've just filled him up big time over the last sort of 4 days. Literally no cardio. One day I told him to do absolutely nothing apart from eat. So I wanted to just get a look at both of them with some food in them to see how they're going to respond. So that's what we'll do today. And I'm going to talk a little bit about like mindset and prep because they both had their own struggles. Good, Ben. Nice. Let's go. Drive. Come on. Yeah. Let's do you. Let's go. Come on. Drive. Good. Good. It's good. Shit. Hard? Feeling it out. The only one saying. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset in this video. Obviously, Ben's with me for like 2 years now. Johnny kind of came at the start of prep, but they both needed entirely different support, I think, throughout prep, and that's where having a coach comes in terms of just literally support. Because a lot of coaches can get someone lean. A lot of coaches can do a food protocol, training protocol, anabolics protocol. Some can't. But that level of like emotional, mental, like psychological support, I think is super important. And these two lads have definitely both had a different experience with me. I think Jono recently, well, both of them actually, a bit of like self-doubt creeping in. So with Jono particularly, I was like, right, get off social media, start journaling, like get out of your own head, use that piece of paper as a vessel to get that thought out of your head and just onto a piece of paper and looking at it objectively rather than like emotionally. So I'll get him to talk a little bit about that, and then Ben's been self-doubt as well. You've had a bit of self-doubt recently, haven't you? Mostly because of weight drops, not being big enough, all the classic things that you'll get in prep. So we'll go into a bit more of that after a couple of working sets. Good. Easy. Yeah. Let's go. That's good, man. And again. Come on, John, let's go. Easy, man. Drive. Yeah. That's it. Drive nice. Over the cross. Let's go. And again. Drive. Take it now. Take it. Let's go. Yeah. I'm here. Let's go. Drive.
So smooth that.
It's good, isn't it? I told you to get out of your gym. I know. Change the environment a little bit.
Good, same again. Go on. Okay. It's yours. Same again. Yes.
Having a back off then. Same in terms of like managing training volume, I think Jono especially put a lot of focus in on his off season just on performance based, getting stronger. It's one of the big things for him. It's been like managing that volume as we've come down in body weight. He's 16 kilos down, just shy of 20 kilos off. So we're gonna expect some drop in strength. Like you're less stable, you've got a less stable base to produce power from. You're going to be more fatigued, like when you're RDLing, like your brain isn't working as it was in the off season when it comes to bracing, when it comes to keeping yourself safe. So we need to be cautious with volume. So for Jono, like managing the mental side of that as well, because watching your numbers dip off, you start seeing that happen and suddenly you're like, oh, am I losing muscle? Unlikely given the anabolics he's running, but it's something that we have to manage anyway. So by taking some volume down, we're going to see stuff like that improve. And I think I said to you as well, like, get out of that same environment all the time. I definitely found as prep's gone on for me, like coming up to train with Cal, for example, last year when Josh was there, we've got people filming it, like just resensitize everything, re-energizes you for like that final stretch. I think that's so important, and I'm hoping that's what happens with these guys today.
So as you start to enjoy training a little bit more, because you're not focusing so much on everything you've done the previous week or like 6 months ago when you were 20 kilos heavier.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely making training a little more enjoyable.
Massive.
Take it, you leave it away.
I was just saying before the last few days, I think it's probably been the biggest struggle mentally, psychologically at 2 weeks out. What was it you were like? What was it you were struggling? What was going on?
I'm usually pretty good. I like just focusing on like myself and not really worrying about what other people are doing. I think from about Thursday last week, I was just comparing myself to other people, really like just pulling away from what I'm used to, And I think I was just pulling myself down, having so much self-doubt. I think where I was getting a bit flatter, obviously where we had quite a good few drops as well. Like I physically wasn't feeling as good as I should have, And I was just just doubting my ability. Like not that I would have, but last Thursday was like, am I even able to do this? Am I even worthy to do this? You know, and it's fucking, that was a nightmare of the weekend for you. But yeah, feeling a lot better now. But I think there will be points in prep, and your head does get the better of you.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? Yeah, it's alright. It comes in waves at the moment.
It does. Yeah. I said to him, I think some of the best advice I can give Jono, and I've given it to Ben as well, and everyone else on prep. Like, there's going to be good days and bad days. Sometimes it's about zooming out and looking at, alright, I've had one bad day versus the last 5 have been really good. So it's things like that. You can't look at prep in like isolation. Like one day in isolation, you'll define your whole prep on like one bad day, and that will inform the rest of your week. Like, you might wake up the next day feeling great. Like I was thinking on the drive down here, in terms of mindset, like how easy is it when you're dying for that big weight drop, you get it, and then cardio that day just feels easy. Everything feels easy, like you're relieved, like everything just moves smoothly. And that for me just goes to show like it's all in your head. Or for example, you know you've got a refeed coming after you get your cardio done, suddenly that cardio session's a fucking breeze because you're buzzing to get the day out of the way.
It's like spiral, and you've got so many variables and boxes to tick and so many hurdles to kind of overcome.
Exactly.
It's very easy to spiral. It's like looking at like 30 minutes cardio tick, you know, pose and tick. It's this huge list, and then when you're feeling like a certain way, you just feel like you're going to break down. For a reason, you just want to start crying. It's like, why? Why?
Put my arm out and suck it.
Am I doing enough? Like, is it
So then you try and
is
do
it
more.
what I'm doing? Like that big drop off, and you just start doubting. Like, obviously that big drop in weight messed with my head quite a lot.
We could have done, but also probably if we didn't drop weight for the 3 weeks prior to that, if we carried on that path, that would have happened as well. It's going to be expected. I don't expect prep clients to be as strong as they were at the end. Like you should see the state of my strength at the end.
I think it's hard to get out of that mindset, though, isn't it? When
It's a good
like
mindset
that one session, we had a big drop off, and I was like,
yeah, you can use
no
something
pump
to feel
thought.
like,
You're just like,
get
what
over
is
it.
going on?
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of that mindset of still trying to progress every session.
Yeah. This is where we need to drop. This is where we need to take volume away from you, so that on the sets that you are performing, your strength is maintaining.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff needs to like feeding back. If that's happening like a macro training across the week, then we need to just pull back. Like we said that to John, I think last week, start pulling sets off. Anywhere he's got 3 sets, make it 2. Any big movements like RDLs, just 1 set.
Yeah, well, it didn't really happen up until it was last week.
Yeah, so then
And when the weight took a nosedive.
and you've really got 10 days left of like proper training, and then it's going to be pump up. So
But that negative training is positive in your physique, isn't
Yeah.
it? So there's always something good out of it.
your mindset would be worse if you were still fat, put it that way.
Yeah.
Been there before 2 weeks out, so not where you want to be.
That being soft as well makes you feel
The worst is when you're flat. Just let me cardio.
I hate you.
Look like
No, it's fine. Obviously, I want to see you after training. To be fair, by the time we post, probably about the time that you'll be on stage. On the stage all the time. John will be on fucking first thing. Good, come on. Yeah. Let's go.
literally missed all the traffic, but good. Crazy yesterday. People like it, it's service. Oh, really? And I was like, stop down, like, stop the car, feel a lot drier. Like, it's just the lighting up.
the thing we were just speaking about, I think with John and probably Ben as well, just like getting out of your normal environment. I think prep can feel obviously it can feel very monotonous. You're doing the same thing day in, day out. And that's great, like that has its perks, but actually taking yourself out of that environment, I don't know, a different gym, hanging around with some different people, as long as they're going to bring you up. Maybe going home and seeing your friends or family, whatever it is, just not doing exactly the same thing every single day. So Jono trains in probably a quite demotivating gym. It's like a JD commercial gym. I told him, get out there, get to some other gyms while you're in prep. See yourself in a different light, see yourself training on different bits of kit. Just make the process more enjoyable, because as Ben and Johnny said, with training, same goes for everything, like make the whole process a bit more enjoyable and it's going to go smoother. That's what we want, stress-free, enjoying it, being present, not thinking, oh, I can't fucking wait for this to be over. So, nothing to think about. Still make sure your tension down the side. The chest though, leave the chest relaxed, I would say.
Yeah, it's always better to relax it, yeah.
Just make sure your abs stay on. Yeah, that you've now captured delt. To be fair, that's fine actually. Like your chest is tense. I would have that relaxed, but if that's helping you do that, keep it there.
The front shot, I've got an issue with the shoulder. I just can't get it up. So I feel like when I hit that, it looks really imbalanced. So would you just go with
want like a front, like a forward shot? Have you just done like a hands down one? Are you still flexing your arm? I like the side on shot, but I want the front on because you've got a tiny waist, big delts. So what you want to do is basically find your groove and like push in, and you're going to make pull the skin down. Yeah, there. Just row back for me so I can see your. And then bring your bring your like your lower body's fine. Bring it in, and then obviously you're going to twist your upper body, but that's going to keep your hands like that and your weight
hands a little bit lower.
Otherwise, when you turn away, we're losing it. I want your arms a bit high. So I want you to close that gap, so keep that arm tight to your body. So when I'm looking at you, I don't want to see anything through there.
Yeah, keep it all.
Yeah.
Remember jumping off the bridge on the west side. What a time to be alive. Love took us for a ride that we never dreamed. Never knew we caused a scene.
Hello, welcome back. We have just had a little Nando's chicken butterfly double veg, trying to lose a bit of weight. Really good session with Ben and Jono. Ben's feeling much better mentally, so that was quite a apt vlog that we just spoke about. I think that just goes to show how important it is to like see yourself in a good light on prep. Don't go places that are gonna give you shit lighting and make you feel shit, because it will ruin your day, ruin your week. You might even can your prep because you're not feeling it. So there you go. He's feeling much better, so I'm happy. 2 weeks to go for them. We're Gucci. And now we're just going to see Christian for the Coachcast. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how savage his questions are going to be. I guess we'll find out. I've not had any pre-warning, but I'm excited. I like a podcast. I like being able to chat. So there you go. See how it goes. Hope you like Dragon Ball Z.
I do now. I do as of today.
Thank you, bro. It's all XXL. They're stringers. You love a stringer,
I
don't you?
love a stringer, mate. Get the nipples out.
There you are, boy. No worries. We're about to go live on Brum Radio with Christian Chapman. I'm excited for this. I don't know what he's going to ask me though. I think his clients are savages, so there you go. You are now tuned into Brum Radio inside.
Right, hello. So, welcome back to Coachcast. We've got episode 10 today with, shall I use your full name?
Yeah,
everyone knows you as Brightman, but it's Joe Brighty, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think actually anyone knows that. I think everyone thinks it's Joe Brightman.
Joseph Oliver, if you will.
Joseph Oliver. So official. That podcast was sick.
Oh, it was a good podcast. Me and Josh obviously went further deeper into prep, and friends and business, man, don't mix. It's terrible. We had different responsibilities, and it just caused a bit of friction. We're all fine, which people seem to think. I get questions all the time, like, do you still get on with Josh and
Mate,
Tom?
welcome to this industry.
I'm like, yeah, mate, I do. Like, just because we're not joined at the hip anymore. We live in different parts of the world now. Josh's obviously just gone to Canada, so I wish it carried on, but it didn't. Pretty sporty kid. Enjoyed playing sports. Was never any good at any of them.
What was your
football and rugby?
Football
I think the day I found out I wasn't going to be a pro footballer, I literally cried. And my stepdad was like, "What are you fucking crying about?" I'm like, "Of course you're not going to be a footballer." Couldn't even get signed on to the local team. How was school for you?
Fuck it, I was a nightmare. I was a little prick.
Yeah.
It was like teachers I really liked me, but they absolutely hated me.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, and then school report, same thing. If he put effort in, he'd be really good.
Yeah.
But I didn't like anything at school, so I don't put effort into things that like I don't like.
Yeah.
So it didn't work out well with that.
Went
What
to-
A levels did you do?
I did English, which is the only one that I was good at. I got a B in that. I did PE, got a C in that. That was actually pretty tricky, to be fair. Like PE gets a bit in deep at A level. I don't know if you did it.
No.
And then I did biology, and that was hard as fuck, and I got a D as a result.
Yeah,
BCD.
I failed that in the first year.
Bro, biology was hard, man. So yeah, uni. I did English at uni. Nothing to do with what I do now.
Oh, yeah.
But
What uni did you go?
Coventry,
Okay.
just around the corner.
Yeah.
And that was where my love for bodybuilding began.
Bodybuilding or going to the gym is something that you kind of like picked up naturally.
It was a funny one. My mum and dad are separated, but my dad and my stepdad are both like into. They both did gear when they were younger.
Legends.
They were both into, like, probably terribly though. They were both
Decker,
into bodybuilding.
EQ.
Yeah, like Suston on all that stuff, all that good shit. So they were both into. They didn't compete, but they were like avid gym goers. Fucking gear heads, like, loved it. My mum trains as well. She was like a bit of a fat kid, so sort of started training, fell in love with it, and then didn't stop. So I've always had a lot of support with the whole bodybuilding thing, which is cool. But yeah, my stepdad actually built like a gym on the side of his house, like
I swear I remember this.
Like it was a fairly decent one. It was when I was a kid. You would never have seen it, but I might have spoken
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
you spoke about it before.
Like I had like. You could have trained there. Like you could easily have trained there. And I remember going in there and just hating training there because he would just tell me what to do. And I'd be like, nah, like fuck off. Stop telling me how to do X, Y, and Z. So I
Do you
did
think
train.
that's the same with everything? Like you don't like people telling you what to do?
I don't think I mind being told what to do. I think I struggle with bad logic.
Right.
If someone tells me something to do something that I don't agree with or is illogical, I'll be like,
You won't do.
what are you on about, mate? So yeah, I didn't like training then, but then I went to uni, started training, and then I was like, kind of fell in love with it.
So you were training in Coventry?
Yeah, initially it was just in like the uni gym, and then in second year I found Future Fitness. Have you been there?
Yeah. So that's a good environment to be around.
Very, very, like, couldn't have been better.
Do you think that helped?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. Apart from like, in terms of like, looking at like those people and thinking, I am never going to be there. But that's quite a like driving.
That's a good
force.
thing to be around.
So that really was where I like forged myself as a bodybuilder. And then there was one called WFC, which was like on the shit stage in the corner, but the winner got like a year's sponsorship at Optimum Nutrition, which obviously when you're like 21 you're thinking, nah,
Sick.
this is fucking, give me the serious maths
Yeah.
right now, and that gold standard way. So that was like, all right, let's enter that one. So we did that, and that was where it really began for me in terms of competing, because I came second out of like 75 people.
Fucking hell.
Loads of them were assisted, I think they were all assisted. I was natty, and I was like, shit, I found something I'm not bad at, and that was when I was like, maybe I can make a go at this.
Yeah, and I remember the first time we actually met, which I'm like in person, I think was the first Fit Expo.
Is that the first one?
I think and it's the first time I've seen you in person. I was like, fuck, like you looked huge, mate.
Yeah, but that's always been a fucking downfall of mine. I've not got that Brandon Harding, you know what I mean? Where he looks small in real life, but in
I'd rather look bigger.
yeah,
in
so
real
like
life
I can imagine my
Instagram.
profile would be a lot bigger if I was.
Brandon Harding looks like an arsehole on Instagram.
I need to
and
do
in
the
real life. So.
0.5 thing, don't I? Stand on the edge of the lens with a 0.5 zoom. I think that's what he does. Yeah, 100%. Like my physique was definitely the driving force for my business. That's why I built it on.
How long after you won your pro card did you leave your job?
So I won a pro card in 2019 in May. I left my job in September 2020.
How is it not?
At the end of the first lockdown.
It feels like, how long ago does it feel? Like, mate, for me, like
yesterday.
Oh man,
Or like
it feels
longer.
like 5 years.
Yeah, no, it feels like I've been doing this like a long time now.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
So where were you at in terms of coaching when you left your job?
So in terms of like numbers, before I had the pro card, I think I had 10.
Mm-hmm.
When I got the pro card, it immediately went to like 25.
Yeah.
Which alongside a full-time job, like you're
It's
doing
hard.
alright. I mean, I was
Yeah.
probably only charging 100 quid a month, but basically back then I actually had no idea I was going to go full-time with it.
Yeah.
It was there to fund my bodybuilding,
Mhm.
so I'd use it to buy my gear and my supplements and whatever.
I really admire the honesty of this podcast.
Yeah,
It's
man.
good.
That was kind of what it was there for. And then as lockdown happened, I was like, bollocks. There goes my business. No way I'm going to be able to keep this
Same
up.
thing with me. Yeah.
But I just very rapidly, like my panic kicked in, and I just started researching. I remember downloading like Hypertrophy Coach was like one of the first people to put out a load of like at-home exercises, and I was like, right, shit, let me get on all these programs for my clients. And I very quickly just went through and gave them all a plan. And I think lockdown was either great for people or terrible for people. For me, and probably for you, and for a lot of other people that are coaches that did well in that period, I felt like I stepped up to the plate and I offered people solutions. If it didn't happen, I would no way be where I am now. And it was actually, shout out Cal, who was also in the podcast. It was him that convinced me to do it.
I literally spoke to him on the
Yeah.
podcast. He was
I wasn't
like,
going to
just
do it.
man.
I was like, there's no way I can do it. And he was like, yeah, go on, you can do it. Do you want, I'll tell you the story he told me. He said, I was on the phone to him just before COVID, or in COVID, and he said, just before COVID, I went home to like visit my family or whatever. I think one of his brothers is a lawyer, and his brother told him how much he was earning, and Cal was in his head like, I'm doing more than that. 7 years to be a lawyer and you're earning more as a coach, and I was like, nah, fuck this, I'm done. So that was it. Set myself the goal of like, I need to get this much. So I was buying a house at the time, and then I'm done.
Oh yes, I remember you were having to put it off for a bit,
Yes.
weren't you?
Yeah. So I would have done it before, but I wanted to get the keys in my hand. I didn't want to like
Skew it.
say I've left my job and then the bank shit themselves. There's
Yes.
obviously no official business income.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2020 was when I officially left John Lewis.
What impact do you think transitioning out of bodybuilding, because you admit that yourself, you're kind of like, I'm not an athlete now, has had on the business?
What I've done in business since, do you want some business? What I've done in business since starting, that is the worst thing I've done, and I would not recommend anyone do it. Like, not necessarily moving out of bodybuilding, but fucking like sticking your fingers up to bodybuilding is what I did in August, September, because I thought that's what I needed to do. And that has 100% been the worst thing that I've ever done for my business. For my current clients, it's been fine, and I had like a meet-up you came to.
Yeah.
I asked them all. I was like, "What are you thinking about?" And they were all like, "Well, no, for us it's fine. Like we know, you're like proven for us.
Yes.
You'd still deliver a good service. Like we know you're still going to coach us well. But in terms of new inquiries through the door, like I've just like lost a load of credibility, because the way I put it was, why would you choose me to be your bodybuilding coach when there is other coaches that are just as good now? It's a very competitive market, delivering as just as good service. Some of them even with just as good competitive experience, and are still passionate and talking about bodybuilding when I'm doing fucking functional fitness and CrossFit or whatever. So it was the worst thing I did, and I regret it massively. I don't believe that no regrets thing. Like I regret that, because that's caused me a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Over the last not the last 6 months, but the 6 months prior. I felt lost with content because I'd moved. I wasn't in bodybuilding gym, so I couldn't do bodybuilding content, and I had no knowledge on functional. So I was like, I jumped out of this pool that I was established in, and I didn't know who I wanted to coach in future. I didn't know whether I wanted to learn more about functional, like all this stuff. So I just really lost my way, and it was pretty stressful. My mental health probably in November last year was like in the fucking trash. Coach convention, in the bin, mate.
Yeah.
Absolute bin. My hair was falling out. I was so stressed.
I couldn't tell to fair at the coach convention. You hit it well,
mate. I don't think you can. This is the thing with this industry. I don't want to tell people to like be more frank than they want to be, but like, I do find it hard to be honest about how I'm feeling on Instagram, because I'm trying to be like not a beacon of positivity.
Yeah,
I want to be real, but also like, I think that's why I quite like podcasts, because I feel like I can talk quite frankly. I'm not going to go on my story and say struggling today, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, or having a bad day, or I'm really stressed. Like,
see, whereas I do sometimes talk about that,
yeah.
And I do think it benefits me. One, because people reach out and it's nice to talk to people,
yeah.
and stuff like that. But I also think people like it because they're like, fair play, man, because I'm having a shit day as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you look at our kind of lives from the out, it's fucking sick.
It's amazing.
Well,
yeah.
Sometimes not. It's absolutely fucking shit sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's what I like particularly about when we did Off the Cuff. I loved that because every Wednesday I came in and I got to decompress with my two mates. And people that listen to that, I actually got a lot of inquiries off the back of that podcast, just because people haven't got to know us better.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a few messages from people saying, I used to fucking hate Tom and now I really like him. Because you get a real insight into someone when they're just talking frankly and you know, freely for an hour or whatever, which is good.
So because that is the next question, what's the future plans for you and your physique?
The future plans is we're going to give it one last spin.
Yes, brother.
Let's
get it.
Need to shout out to you as well, because when you spoke to me at that meetup, you said some things to me about my last two preps.
Was that the client meetup?
Yeah. I was like, maybe you're fucking right. Like, maybe there's a different way of doing it. Because I think a large part of me stopping was I wasn't having fun anymore. I wasn't enjoying it. I hated my two pro preps. I hated them.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, they were miserable for me.
Oh, fucking.
I was just
when
like,
you put that on Instagram, I felt so bad for you, man.
like, when I was doing everything, my weight just wasn't coming down. And I was like, what the I remember we come up and stayed with Cal. Josh like snapped at me because I was like, how many calories are you on? He's like 2,900. And I was like, what? And I said, what, a third time? And he went, 2,900. And I was like, oh. And I was like, you're shouting at me. I'm on 2,000, bro. What are you talking about? But that's trend for you. So yeah, it wasn't a fun prep for me. Neither of them were. All the the last few months, there are a few things that have led to that decision. Is one. Another reason I stopped is because I think I wanted to live a bit of a normal life. I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of friends that are non-bodybuilders. My whole life actually isn't in bodybuilding. A lot of it is, but not all of it. And I was like, I just want to live a bit. I've been bulking and cutting for the last decade. Can I just have some time off? What I realised is that the time off, living a normal life, meeting up with your mates and having a drink, and actually doesn't align with who I want to be in the future. Bodybuilding gives me structure, and I know I need to drop that at some point. Like, of course I have to drop that bulk cut cycle, but I'm hoping that when kids come along, they will provide that, a different level of structure. But for now, while I don't have that, send it.
Yeah.
And I just think as well.
I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah, over the last 6 months, I've spent a lot of time just continuing to invest in my own bodybuilding knowledge for my clients mostly. But I've realised that actually, fuck me, I'd like to give this another go. Yeah. Under my own wing, and at some point reach out. Like,
there was parts of that prep and you coming down where it was like good balance of like you're still full, you're pretty fucking peeled. Yeah. And it looked mental, and I don't think that was displayed in the end. What's been like the cost of getting to where you are?
5k gyno surgery. One way to make it not deep. It's been. I don't know about the actual cost, because I actually am quite a firm believer in like a lot of things or everything happening for a reason. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm exactly where I need to be right now. I'm exactly where I should be, based on everything that's happened and based on everything that will happen. But what have I lost? A few years probably of my life. A lot of money in terms of like the surgery. Like, fuck me, that was rough. Gyno surgery I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, thanks to Brightman for coming. Hannah for some behind the scenes as well. Even though it's nothing to do with me, but that's sweet.
That was good.
Thanks, bro.
I'm sweating, man.
Yeah, just we've got 5 minutes to do. Well, 2 minutes to do. Liam gets stills after.
That's today's vlog done. Yeah, how much of that did you capture? That's going to be a long vlog.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that.
Part 1, part 2.
Movie. It's a movie. I don't know if you've got anything to say. Do you want to say anything?
Good day, innit?
It's a good day, innit?
It's a good day to be alive,
It's a good day to be alive. The sun's shining, I'm sweating my balls off, and that's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one.
Coached by Christian.